Hey, when the great running back showed up with Jalen Hurts, he figured out by hook or by crook how to become
Rubik's Cube.
How to become a part of that winning team. I mean, Lamar Jackson's had good defenses. Lamar Jackson has had great players around him. Lamar Jackson got added Derrick Henry. He can't figure out the Rubik's Cube. I like that word. It's hard to turn a Rubik's Cube. Jalen Hurts figured out how to turn it the right way. And by the way, he sacrificed some of his own success, growth, statistics, and maybe even perception, and as we just talked about, the extension to do it. Lamar has not.
Would you make a Philly 500 calling Sirianni the Barry Switzer of the Eagles?
I think Philly's, I love Philly 500, but I don't think that's a good comment at all. I think Eagle fans, as much as I've spent around them in my life, I think for some weird reason, they go here and they just don't think coaches are worth a shit, or the easiest thing to do is criticize coaches. And Nick Sirianni has been an extremely successful coach. That's the help of Howie. It's the help of Jalen and AJ and the defense and Vic Fangio and all those different things. I agree completely. But did Andy Reid not get help from Joe Banner? Did Andy Reid not get help from the defensive coordinators of that day? Did Doug Peterson get help from Jim Schwartz? I mean, you can make all the excuses you want. At the end of the day, Sills, it's a scoreboard world. It's a scoreboard world. All right. And you might not like it. And some people might, you need to add the content. Bullshit. We are judged in this world, this worldly world that we live in, this
ratings and revenue
world. Exactly right. Fucking results. Nick's got them. Jalen Hurts has them.
Do you you think Nick could go to the Jets and do the same thing that he did there?
No, but to be fair, I don't think there's a single coach in the league that could go to the Jets and do that. How about, here's a better question. Do you think Nick would have success in, let's say, San Francisco? Another good organization. I do. Look a lot different there, but I think he'd have success.
The head coach is a play caller and one of the savants of
Well, that's why I said it would look a lot different.
Yeah.
But my point is there's a good organization there.
They'd have to rely more on their coaching hires there if he was the head coach. See, that's the deal. When you got a guy like Nick Sirianni, you got to rely more on your coaching hires than you do on the head coach being a coach. Because he doesn't even coach defense. He really coaches nothing. I'm saying, but watch this. Look, when Mike Tomlin is a defensive coach, that side of the ball better be fucking good. Because if it's not good, you're not, what are you doing? Okay? But when you're a coach like him, you got to have success where you've got I think the biggest problem that Nick Sirianni has, and I'll tell you, and I don't think it has anything to do with him. I don't think he really has control of his own destiny.
Well, that's the organization. That's not on Nick.
So if he doesn't have a control of his own he doesn't have a control of his own destiny, how good a coach could he be if the destination of the coach's future is relying on what people do around him? That's my problem with him. Well, it's all about the superficial stuff around him that determines his success and not the internal part of it that makes him successful. If he doesn't have Howie, he doesn't have Jalen, he doesn't have a good roster.
Yeah, but you also, look, that's a fair comment, but you also have to recognize the deficiencies of the guys who run their teams like that. I mean, outside of Andy Reid, there's not a whole lot of hardware to show for those guys. There's awesome offense. There's a bunch of stats. There's pretty play calls.
Okay, fair enough. And I'll ask you this. If you had to hire right now one guy to coach your team, and I'll give you a couple of guys. Would you hire Sean McVay or Nick?
Sean McVay.
Would you hire Matt LaFleur or Nick?
Nick.
Okay. Kyle Shanahan or Nick?
Kyle Shanahan. It's my favorite coach in football.
Mike McDonald, Seattle.
Interesting one. I'll go Nick.
Interesting. Okay. Andy Reid or Nick? That's not
Andy
fair.
Reid. That's easy.
That's the Mike Vrabel or Nick.
Mm-hmm. That's a personal preference thing for me there. I'm taking Vrabel. It's my kind of coach. I mean, look, we've talked about this. I'll give Nick the credit because I don't think my opinion is the most important thing of him, but he is not my kind of coach. Like, I would not hire a personality like Nick Sirianni. It's just not who I would hire. But I can recognize what he's done as a success, and that my way, for lack of a better phrase, my way to skin the cat is not the only way to skin the cat. You know what I mean? There's other ways to do it, but I have other preferences for how I would do it. I think Shanahan's the best. I mean, but again, I'm not going to be blind. Shanahan's got deficiencies, major ones, some that you could argue are the reason they don't have more Super Bowls. So you kind of got to pick your poison here, man.
John Harbaugh or Nick?
Give me Nick. I think the Harbaughs are overrated.
Really?
John's got one Super Bowl in 2012. And then he's a middle guy. Like, I don't want middle, dude. I don't want to win 10 games every year and win a playoff game. What is that? I'd rather Nick boom and bust year after year than just be Mike Tomlin. I'm sorry, but I would. Maybe it's not good for revenue, but
how about this? The way we're watching it in New York right now, it surely looks like John Harbaugh's making his own hires, does it not?
Yeah, no, for sure. John Harbaugh's a good coach. And look, here's us. John Harbaugh's going to turn the Giants around.
Jim has already. Jim's turned the Chargers around already.
What is the ceiling, though?
Super Bowl. He's got to win one.
Yeah, for John. I mean, he did that 1 year in 18 years in Baltimore, right? How many years was he in Baltimore?
18 years, I believe. 17, 18 years.
He had one Super Bowl. I don't know. I mean, do people understand? I want people to understand this. Do people who are listening to this right now honestly believe, as good as you might think John Harbaugh is, whoever's listening, do people honestly believe that this organization with this owner would keep a coach for 18 years with one Super Bowl? Doug Peterson lasted 3 years after winning.
He kept Andy for 14.
That was a different era. I don't think they'd ever do that again.
And he was a new owner.
I don't think they'd ever do that again.
So what do you think the shelf life for Jeffrey? It's a good observation now. Since Andy Reid, these coaches, what are they?
Yeah, we did it. The longest Andy Reid's the longest. Andy Reid's the longest standing. He's the longest tenured coach in Eagle history. If you look at the average of Jeffrey Lurie since his ownership, it's averages 5 years for a coach. Chip, Nick, Ray Rowe, all these guys, all of them. Doug. Nick almost got fired before they won the Super Bowl a year and a half ago.
After having gone to one.
Right. Organization doesn't give a shit, dude. So I don't even think those coaches would have the ability to last that long here.
Howie Roseman has really done a job on me, and I'll tell you how. I've changed a lot on him, and I've changed a lot on how he really does do a damn good job on that salary cap and all that stuff. But now, do you not agree? Some of this stuff is coming back now where he's pigeoned himself into this position now where look at the flat latitude he has. He doesn't have any. This offseason, he doesn't have any, dude.
Well,
Max Crosby.
I'm kind of coming around to it a little bit. I didn't really love it at first, but I think this team should make some splashes.
Okay, the Jalen Phillips. Give me a percentage on them re-signing him.
I wouldn't be upset with Jalen. Here's what I'd be upset with. I wouldn't be upset if they didn't go Crosby and they went with Phillips. I wouldn't. But I would be upset if that's the only thing they did. If they
42%, they sign him.
Is that where you're putting it at?
42.
I think that's actually right on the money. I think it's a little higher, maybe like 46.
Okay. Max Crosby deal, I got at 18%.
See, this just goes, look, I love the great people we have here. Senor, I want you to use the pea-sized brain that's between your two ears, okay? If they trade A.J. Brown, it does zero for their ability to maneuver. In fact, it makes it harder. Go and read the Spot Track guy who put out a tweet today about the financial complexity of moving on from A.J. Brown. There is a specific reason that Howie Roseman has said, I want a Quinnen Williams size haul, because you're taking a